So you're basically creating a cult?
If people call it like that, I would be sad, but it has a little bit of the vibes.
Hi, welcome to Doing Interesting Things with Interesting People. I'm here today with, please introduce yourself.
Daniel. I build things.
Daniel what?
Dippold.
Okay, cool. What does it mean?
Doesn't mean anything.
No?
No.
That's a cool name.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I think you're the first person who says this.
Sure. Okay, what do you build?
I build tech ventures, most recently communities, organizations, laughter.
Especially the laughter, yeah. I actually have something for you, since it's doing interesting things with interesting people.
Yeah.
I thought that you are nerdy enough to be able to solve this.
I'm not sure.
I mean, obviously you're not going to solve this, because I could do this too, because it's already solved, but I will mix it up a bit for you.
Sure.
But tell us a bit more about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm from a small village in Bavaria.
Which village?
It's called Stieg-Aurach. It's close to Bamberg.
Bamberg.
Bamberg, yes.
Isn't that where Snow White is from?
I don't think so.
Maybe you should educate yourself a bit more about the history of your town.
Doubt it.
Maybe it's not that interesting, huh?
Math is more interesting.
Ooh, math. Okay, tell me about math.
Math is beautiful. It explains the world. It describes what's happening in a language understandable to anyone.
Anyone?
Boring enough to sit down for long enough to learn how the language actually works.
Do you think you're boring?
Sometimes, when I want to.
When you want to, so it's an active choice to be boring.
And
So
I think it's
actually
important to be boring. And it's important to be bored.
Why?
Because boredom is where real creativity happens. I think we constantly overload our schedules and we're never in a frame of mind where real intellect happens.
How do you make yourself bored?
Throw your phone away, lock yourself, only give yourself a limited amount of items. I do that every Christmas and New Year's, usually until 7th of January.
So you don't spend Christmas and New Year's with your family and friends?
I do. I'm there at Christmas and then until 25th, 26th, and then I usually venture off. It's the best time of the year.
Anyway, here you go.
Oh,
You have 50 minutes to solve that.
15.
50.
50.
I want it to be nice on you.
I haven't done this in ages.
So actually, what's your biggest thing that you're working on right now? I mean, I'm a
It's
part
called
of it as
EWOR, you
well.
know it.
I'm just going to pretend that I don't know what it is.
Mm.
Can you please tell us what EWOR is?
We are a mixture of what a venture capital firm would do and what a accelerator or community would naturally do. And we just try to combine the best of all of those worlds and maximize the value for anyone we invest in. It's basically money that comes from the partners and a very close family. We don't have an investment horizon. We don't have LPs we need to pay back. The other thing is, this is really something, especially as a first-time founder, you don't really know how to do. Someone needs to explain. Create courses for stuff like this. The education part is really important, but also the people part, just connecting you with the right kind of people. When you're an entrepreneur, first of all, it's a very lonely journey. When I started my first company with 19, there was no one who found this cool. But it's just nice to have a couple of people who understand you and support you also emotionally. Obviously, there's something about just having peers that lift you up. Like creating a spirit that does this, I think is really important. And that's not what most investors do. And therefore, we've built this a little bit differently.
So you're basically creating a cult?
If people call it like that, I would be sad. But it has a little bit of the vibes.
Do you think you're a cult leader? Did you watch the Netflix series?
No, I
How
didn't.
to become a cult leader?
Is there a
Maybe they
Netflix
based-
series on this?
Yeah, maybe they based it off of you.
Oh, hopefully not.
Hopefully not. So you are
Do you
a
think
cult
they
leader.
did?
I don't know, it sounds pretty familiar when I watched it. Yeah.
Maybe I didn't watch it because I made it.
Ooh, what is the most successful thing that you think you've done so far?
I think it's connecting with my inner child. Being able to live life as if it's a game and if I'm playing it and not if I'm doing it for some reason that other people have given me.
That's very inspiring, actually. But how do you
Thank
get
you.
yourself out of this pressure from others to be fitting into the society?
Most of the things where you believe you need to do something for other people, like they're just lies you tell to yourself. I think no one really needs to do that. Everything you need to free yourself from is actually yourself. I'm a little bit stuck here.
It's okay, I
With
gave
your
you
Rubik's
50
Cube.
minutes. It's fine, you still have time. Why did you decide to be an entrepreneur? Like, do you feel like you just needed to inflate your ego or like prove yourself?
I hope not, but you never know, right? Like your ego plays tricks with you, and I would be lying if I told you, oh, I've totally defeated my ego. You know, for me, it's really about making an impact and changing something about the world we live in, and I just deem entrepreneurship to be the most effective way to actually do all of this.
I also think that actually the money runs the world, and even if politicians were out there to change the world or whatever, I think most of them are still tied to entrepreneurs and the people who are actually making money and business in the country. How do you think that we can make the world a better place if everything is so money oriented and profit oriented? Because I mean, most of the issues that we're facing now is because of profit making. I mean, ecological issues and societal issues, mental health.
Are you familiar with the MIT systems thinking school?
No, educate me, please.
So they're believing that everything can be explained in systems that have feedback loops, positive, negative, different mechanisms. There's a whole language they've invented. And they've kind of run a simulation. They usually define how a system works and then it's just simulated into the future. And that's how they forecast. They've come up with a way to actually simulate where the world's gonna go in like 50 years. What's basically gonna kill us all is not money, it's growth. I mean, we use money for all sorts of things, but at one point we invented GDP and we said that's how well a country does and it just needs to grow. Why does it have to grow? And that constant growth ruins the planet. And I think it's that buying into the myth of growth and the necessity of it that actually ruins the planet. And money is just the mechanism that makes it happen.
I don't think growth is really the issue in itself, because I think we can channel the growth into something else. Maybe we want to grow more positive impact on the environment and society. So that's still growth, but we don't have the right KPIs to measure this type of growth rather than just making money and profit. So what do you think? Maybe if we introduce another way of measuring success?
I do agree. I think that could be a way, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Ah, there we go.
Ah, well done.
So where were we? Can you repeat your question? I was busy solving your cube.
Thinking.
What have you done?
I wanted to test
It was
you
so
again.
Pretty.
Oh, I can put it back. No, I cannot.
You know, money is easy compared to internalizing all externalities in economical terms, right? So if we want to internalize externalities like climate change, plastic pollution, it gets really, really messy. And no one yet has been able to internalize that. And all of the impact measurement frameworks out there, sorry, they're bullshit. They are a good start, but they're definitely not doing the trick. And as long as we don't have this transparency, it's gonna be really, really hard to internalize externalities unless we switch to an entirely new system, which I believe, given current lagging effects of society, is just really hard to do.
But how do you then inspire these new aspiring entrepreneurs to focus rather on this impact than money making?
So I think as long as you support people with the right set of values and the right intention, they will eventually do the right thing. And it's just education and nudging into the right direction at the right point. And if someone within our ecosystem wants to make money first, honestly, that's fine to me. And that's why we're not an impact fund.
So what do you look for in EWOR?
So first of all, I do look for immense resilience, because entrepreneurship is just not easy.
It's stressful.
I think it's a fantastic indicator of an entrepreneur. I think it's more important than intelligence, than just keep going. But the real entrepreneurs, they're not there for the good times, they're there for a higher reason. Another thing I look for is right intention, and I don't think that really correlates with successful entrepreneurship, but it's what I want to build. And I don't want to build this community with assholes, I just want to build this with people who are the right kind of people. And the third thing I'm looking for is a high mix of IQ and EQ. I think IQ is definitely not enough, but you need to have sufficient IQ. Like if you are borderline stupid, and that sounds harsh, I know, and then you need high EQ. You gotta be well with people. It's also about being able to motivate yourself, being able to read yourself. I want people who have both a good IQ and a good EQ at the same time. And very often those two things don't go together. But if they do,
You've got
it's
a
a good
golden
start.
boy and girl, or them.
You said that, not I.
How is EWOR going so far? I mean, it's baby, no?
It's a baby.
In terms of time, let's say.
We've seen some really cool things, and the kind of indications I look for that I think are proxies for later successes. Stuff like one of our fellows just raising Europe's biggest ever pre-seed round by a first-time founder. $13 million pre-seed round.
Yeah.
Never ever happened in Europe. It's an underwater flywheel that spins at the speed of sound, 3,000 meters below sea level, and stores energy.
It's That's insane.
Because green energy is already the cheapest energy to produce. The problem is it's only produced when the sun shines, when the wind blows, and so on. So what you need to do is you need to store it very efficiently. No one can do that so far. Another guy is 3D printing a heart out of University of Cambridge. The second thing is we just got a lot of interest from the investor community to kind of invest in companies that are within the EWOR ecosystem. People look at this and say, hey, these are amazing companies. You started with a person, maybe even pre-idea, but now they have a team, they have a case, I want to finance this. The third thing I look at is just who's part of this, who's supporting this. Like initially I was alone, and then there was a phenomenal co-founder who's still working with me today, who did a 500 million exit. That's kind of the things people look at when they don't know who you are. They want to understand as quickly as possible, is this worth my time, right? And now having a team of partners where one did a 500 million exit, one did a 1.2 billion exit, and thirdly, one who did a 200 million exit. I think that's a great sign that lots of fantastic people want to spend most of their time on something like this. And there's another indication, and it's not enough. And I hope at one point we're going to be able to measure this impact in terms of CO2 reduced, in terms of plastic gotten out of the ocean.
No, it's crazy people here. Yeah, well done. Pretty good job, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for having me, actually.
Big pleasure.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, thank you for answering my questions.
Sure.